Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're joining me from. You're welcome this day that the Lord has made to Family Robust. This is Family Robust. We believe in Family Robust, a reality. Oh, you know, usually I'm always happy here whenever I come here for a program. This is the place that makes me so happy, so happy. Thank you for coming again. My name is Janet Ajobewe. I'm a rescue agent on a global mission. I'm a family coach. And I'm a children coach. I love children. Today is Children Day, so I will say happy children to all of us. Are you not a child? Don't say you are not a child. Even if you are a grandmom, you were a child. Okay. If you are not a child again, no problem. I excuse you, but to those of us who are still children and to all our children worldwide, I celebrate with you. I love you so much. Happy Children Day! Now to the parents in the house today. Today is the day. Today is the day. This our webinar is kicking off right now. Parenting with ease. My moderator is in the house, Angel Wale Adeyemi. My speaker is in the house, IKALONE. Oh God! When I say I am serious, I mean business. That is me. When I'm smiling, it doesn't mean there's no seriousness there. Everybody should be set. Please get your biro, get your writing materials, everything you need. No distraction, nothing whatsoever. This is the appointed time for you. What you learn from here, you will never forget it. So, let me welcome. I know you join me with a clap. Let me welcome my moderator in the house. She's here. She's here. She's here. Are you clapping? Are you clapping? Are you clapping? She's here. She's here. She's here. Woo! Yes, she's. Angel Wale Adeyemi, you are welcome. You are welcome.
Oh,
God bless you for coming. Oh, what am I
amen.
seeing you here? Hey, this is
Yes,
a
it's
broadcaster.
actually
You
good to
see
see you
that?
too.
She's an on-air personality. Oh God. I'm just, is it lucky? I'm not just lucky. I'm blessed to have these mighty people around me. So thank you for coming today. Thank you. This is our moderator for today. When we want to do some things that are great, we have to use the right tools.
Mm.
She is the tool for today as the moderator. Honestly speaking, you will enjoy. Just stay around, stay hooked, and stay focused and stay concentrated. God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, hello everybody. You're welcome to the opening session of our specialized webinar on Family Robust. For this particular month, our theme is Parenting with Ease. We've had our previous webinars, Woman Wake Up, which was really impactful. And this particular webinar is going to run for 4 days. 4 days. That is starting today, the 27th day in the month of May, running all through till the 30th of May. And trust me, the speakers that we have on board for you are people that will not just come and entertain you or will not just come and wow you with grammar, but they will actually be pouring out from the wealth that they have on their inside. Our guest for today, Ikalon Udo, is someone I had not met before, but I had a previous chat with her. And this is someone whose past, whose childhood has actually fueled her passion for the work that she is doing. In case you did not know, Ikalon Udo recently coached 2 young Nigerians to success in an international competition, speaking competition in Texas. The mother of these children was so proud. She had to take it on social media, thanking Ikalon for her effort with the kids so far. And aside from being kids coach, Ikalon Udo actually has 14 years experience, not a joke, in marketing. That's in the financial sector. And with that under her belt, she's also the lead consultant at Danicol Consult, which is an organization focused on, helping children master anger management, public speaking, emotional intelligence. She is a woman who's passionate. I spoke with her earlier today, and I didn't want to go further because I knew that everyone who's connected tonight, everyone who's going to be a part of the program will definitely be impacted. And the icing on the cake for Ikalon is that she has actually opted to help parents personally on their journey in parenting in this particular age. So if you have any challenge with any of your children, probably you're wondering, how do I deal with this child's temperament? How do I deal with his weaknesses? You don't just fret. Ikalon is ready and all set to, hold your hand and walk you through the journey of parenting. So if you will not mind, please join me this evening as I welcome the very beautiful, the very intelligent, the very passionate kids coach, Ikalon Udo. Can we give it up to Ikalon?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Madam Janet. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm truly delighted to be here. Please, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
welcome.
I'm seeing you for the
Thank you for
first time
joining us,
live. That's the
Ikalon.
power of social media. Thank you. And I'm very delighted to be here on this special day where we're celebrating all children around the world. Why am I this excited?
Mm-hmm.
I'm this excited because I'm also a child. And my mom is somewhere very close to me. And I know what it is. I'm also a
Mm.
privileged mother. I have three amazing kids. But why are we here
Wow.
today? Family robust. What are we doing to
Mm.
help families? We're going to be starting off this
Ikalon.
amazing.
Hello,
We're going
Ikalon.
to
Are
be.
you with me?
Yes, please.
Okay, your excitement is so contagious. And, I could just let you go on and on. Okay, parenting, talking about parenting with ease. You just mentioned that mommy is close by, or we'll call her grandma now. So we'll just kick start and, during our earlier chat, you told me some things about your childhood. So let's start with that. Let's start from your childhood stories and what formed this passion that you have to help other parents and children as well.
All right. Thank you so much for that question. So I was born many years ago, and while I can remember, is I didn't used to talk much. I was very shy. I was very timid, if you could permit me to describe myself like that. I am happy saying it because I'm not a shadow of how I used to be when I was small. And that has taught me that there's no child that should be judged by what we see them display today. Because I am totally different from how I used to look when I was younger in terms of my confidence, my self esteem. And growing up, all I knew was I used to stutter. I used to stammer so badly. I didn't know why. Anytime I opened my mouth to speak to my siblings in a very happy way, all I would hear is, why are you talking as if you have hot yam in your mouth? And those words made me to stop talking. I was so timid that the feedback I got was, if you are not careful, we'll be looking for you on the street. So, but my childhood days were days of loving. I loved my mom. She has always been a teacher, even though she's retired. I still love her very much, but then she really instilled a lot of discipline in us. But many of our parents, my own childhood, my mom used to use the cane to instill loads of discipline. And that really shaped me, if I say, into a very disciplined child, because when I didn't do things rightly, she would always correct me and my siblings, and she used to use the cane. So I grew up like that, and I noticed that I was still shy throughout my secondary school days, but I wasn't performing so well. And I didn't
Okay.
know why, because I used to read a lot. After my JS3 exams, I noticed that my grades were very average. And my mom called me and said something to me that made me think. She was the closest to me at that time, so she practically molded me. She was telling me that at the rate I am going, if I do not pay attention to my quietness, timidity, I would not be excelling in my academics. So what happened was I was looking for how to make friends. I didn't know how. But in my final year in school, I decided to do some things differently. I decided to enjoy my learning. They gave us a project, and I didn't go for midterm in my secondary school. I went to the library, I took out time to enjoy my work, and I did a lot of research, and I submitted my project work. When the results came out, I noticed that I got the highest
Wow.
for the first time in history. It was
That
in
would have
project
boosted
work,
your
right?
self-esteem.
You need to listen. The scholar in my set that had always been coming first, it was as if maybe she was born from a special gene. She was a day student. She wanted to know who beat her for the very first time in that project. It was a biology project work, because I can remember I drew diagrams, right? Immediately, I learned valid life lessons, that there is no dull child, that every
Mm.
child that comes first does something extra. When she asked for my scripts, I was very shy, very timid. I also asked for her scripts. I realized that the things I wrote in my own script, she wrote them too, but I wrote much more. The
Okay.
diagrams I drew, she drew them too, but I drew much more.
Mm.
Immediately, that ceiling of mediocrity broke off. I said, there's nothing so supernatural about this lady. I've got the secret. From that day, I have been seeing myself as someone that can excel in anything I put my mind to do. I moved up to the university. Don't forget, my mother kept telling me to try and open up, but I did not know how. In fact, I felt my mindset was that anyone that had friends, they used to quarrel a lot. I didn't like trouble. I just wanted to stay on my own. But I used to envy my friends, sharing provisions, talking, gisting. But when I see them quarreling sometimes, I say, thank God I'm not part of them. But I missed friendship. I wanted to have friends.
Mm.
Going to the university, I realized that, okay, when I see what is good, I should celebrate it. When I see things that are not going so right, I should speak out against it. I was still very quiet. So it was time for my department elections. And there was a particular girl in my department that was vying for the position. Something in me did not allow me to rest. Something kept telling me, Carlo, you need to take up this position. You need to take up this position. I came out very late to show my interest. And people were like, no, they already have people in the class, my classmates. But there was this urge to say, go for it. And I looked within myself, and I remembered, just like Daniel, that was able to kill the Goliath with a stone. And he had to remember
David.
what he did before. I remember my secondary school days that even though I was very quiet, I was selected as a house prefect for junior students. So I remember that I could lead. So that now gave me the confidence to say I could be the vice president of my department. I was still very quiet. Somebody a year above me said to me, Ikalo, why are you going for this position? Nobody knows you. You're too quiet. I had one anger in me that said, who told you that it's noise makers that are leaders? So I went on for the competition just the day before the closing, before the manifesto. And I went there, I dressed like a leader, and I said some few words, and I won. All those things kept boosting my self-esteem, boosting my self-confidence. Sometime along the way, I realized that on social media, one of my primary school friends, classmates, I couldn't even remember him until he reached out to me on Messenger. He said, Ikalo, can't you remember Grace Children's School? I couldn't really remember, but I now, it came back to me. He reminded me of how I became first during a CA test in primary 4 and how I gave him sleepless nights because he couldn't imagine a girl beating him in any competition. He told me that throughout our junior days, he was always coming first, primary 1, primary 2. We're not in the same class. But when he got to primary 4, I came first. During the first CA test, I came second during the second CA test. He told his brother that, who is this girl? He was angry. I was wondering. We were adults, but I
Yes.
couldn't remember. So this guy now told me that he was working very hard to beat me in class. All of a sudden, he didn't even see me amongst the first 10 anymore. I was the one that gave him the ginger to keep striving, but he didn't find me. He told me in my adulthood that he was looking for me and he felt I had a family challenge, a traumatic experience. I couldn't believe this. Do you know, I asked him to tell me more about myself because I couldn't remember.
Okay.
Now that I am an adult and into emotional intelligence and why people behave the way they do based on traumatic experiences, I had to flash back and remember how was my environment when I was growing up? How did my parents treat me or my
Okay,
environment?
Ikalo, let me just, if you don't mind, let me put this in. Something about your story. You said your mom noticed that you were this shy, timid person, right?
Yes,
And so she kept asking you to come out.
yes, yes.
Now, what are the markers for parents listening to you now? What are the markers of low self-esteem in children? What should they look out for in their kids? So that, like your mom who was, trying to help you to come out, so that they know what to do.
When a child is constantly being bullied, and the child comes home and reports that you were being bullied, because I was being bullied in my JS1. My mates would come to the line after me and look for their friends in front and go and stack up their buckets. And I would start crying. I would be saying, hey, God, you said I should be calm. I was very spiritual then. So they were bullying me, taking advantage of me. I was not assertive. I could not fight for my rights. That is one. Secondly, my academics suffered because I could not interact with other kids to share my knowledge with them. I thought what I knew was all there was to know, not knowing that what I knew was just a little bit. So I suffered in my academics too. Then always criticizing myself. I had a very low self-esteem, or the way I saw my self-worth, that I was not up to it. I had a very beautiful sister, by the way. She's late right now. So she always used to go out and get so many beautiful things in. And I was wondering, how did she do it? How did she used to speak and bring so many things home? I was just, for me then, like a nobody. I was just in the house without any results to show. And my mom said, your sister is very sharp. Okay, streetwise, the way you are going, you might enter a mistake, and
Yeah.
because of your shyness, you don't know anything, and I didn't like it. So every time I'll be looking up to my sister, I'll be listening to her gist. I wanted to be like her. So when kids are always comparing themselves with other children, you want to be like an elder sister, you want to be like somebody else you admire, somebody else's child. And another thing is when parents keep comparing you with other siblings, they are gradually eroding your self-esteem. I've come to realize that every child has its own uniqueness. All kids cannot be the same. So those were some of the things that affected me. I would also like to share some others. Very
Okay.
critical of myself. Downplays anything I did, I'll downplay it as, oh, did I do it by myself? Okay, that assume that luck played a very major role instead of me acknowledging that I did it myself.
Like, mm-hmm.
Blame myself, right? Blame myself for any mistake. All right. I used to use negative words. Even though negative words were said to me, I also used to accept those negative words as, oh, my downfall. So those are some of the
Okay.
things of low self-esteem. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, as parents, you have said that those are the markers of low self-esteem, downplay your achievements, criticize yourself. Now, what role do we as parents have to play in building up the self-esteem in our children? Our activities, what we say, what we do not say, how does it contribute?
What we when a child is born, the child does not know good or bad. The child comes out like a very clean slate. So the first contact the child has is with the family, the immediate family members, the caregivers, or the parents. So what they say to the child, the words are seeds. How they
Mhm.
keep telling the child, see your head, see your stomach, those words kill the esteem of a child. They influence a child a great deal. Do you know, as simple as saying, well done, great job, can boost that child's confidence to do better? But when
Mm.
a child seems to have put in his best according to his abilities and it is not acknowledged, that child will be wondering, does it even care? Do they even care if what I have done is important or not? Why should I bother? So you see this child taking drugs, following bad gang, and thinking that it doesn't really matter. They don't even, people I expect to love me don't appreciate me. So the words they say and what to the child directly and what they say to others about the child, because a child can actually listen in and say, every time she's talking to me about talking to her friends or other people about me, it's always the negative words. Nothing I do is ever good. So the child will stop trying. When a child wants to even give an effort or put in an effort, the child stops and it just goes down. So words are very powerful. Even in schools too, not only parents, every word that comes, every word
Okay.
that comes through maybe the books they read, if they see so much violence, so much negativity around them, they are like sponges, they take it in. In school, their performances compare, like the boy I mentioned about, I don't know what made a boy realize that a girl should not beat him. He told me, you understand, we were kids then, we were like 9 years or so, but he said
Mm,
he could not sleep because I came
mm,
first. So you can imagine this, the society puts pressure on some people that, oh, how can you allow, maybe in his house, maybe his brothers or
yes.
father will say, you mean a girl beats you? How can you allow a girl to beat you? I even heard of a
Shame.
story. I heard of a story in Nigeria whereby a boy that used to come first actually wanted to poison a girl that suddenly came first because she came first. And in
Wow.
his mind, he wanted to get her, it was a true life story, it was on the news. He wanted to get her out of the way because in his mind, he's not getting
Nobody
that
should be harmed.
glory and that fame again. We know about Aquila and the
And the
bee.
bee. Yes.
Yes, we know about that guy who is it the Chinese father who was really saying you have to read. Don't allow this girl. See what? So
Girls.
those are seeds. And the boy just wanted to read and pass. But the father said, "You are the first," not caring about what the boy wanted to do. So when we put so much
Okay.
pressure on our kids, we are making them feel choked. And you see a child that cannot take that pressure, we want to break, either to commit suicide or to kill himself or to do something nasty or to get his father or whoever is harassing him out of the way. So the next question, let me listen
All
in.
right. Okay. Now, I know that sometimes parents want to boost confidence in their children by enrolling them in the best schools, enrolling them for courses, certification. Does that do more harm than good, given the experiences that you had?
Okay, you said enrolling them in certifications or train, sorry.
Yes, I said sometimes parents tend to want to do their children good by enrolling them in schools that probably they may not be able to afford, but because they want to give their children the very best. And then the children are sandwiched between, people who can actually afford these schools and people who can really, really afford these schools. So he's between. How does that help the child?
Oh yes, yes, it does. It does. I recently listened to a speech by someone who gave an example she encountered about a child who was taking parents that pay for very high schools way above their levels, financial levels and status in the society, and putting these kids to mingle with kids who are from a very high background, and they feel that they are allowing their children to rub shoulders with people of a higher category. But because they cannot maintain that lifestyle, maybe they just do everything to pay the fees. When these kids from this high background go on holidays, they tend to travel abroad. Meanwhile, these other children that are just managing and just have to put their kids there, maybe go sometimes to see grandma in the village.
Or
So
to
when
catch
they now
grasshoppers?
resume, So when they now resume back in school, the communication is different. There's this mismatch. So that really, really affects the child's personal appraisal of himself. He'll be wondering, why can't my parents afford to take me abroad? You will see those kids demanding, "Mommy, I want to travel abroad." Because he does not understand why he's in the same environment with kids who are traveling and he or she cannot also travel. So when
So will you
we
encourage the practice
Oh no,
for
I will not.
parents to
I
keep doing
believe
that? Okay.
do you know that this practice also flows into marriage? From my experience, it might not be a general rule. I don't believe that when the class is so variant from each other, so different, maybe a very, very rich girl marrying a guy that is just coming in or the other way around. I have had lots of experiences of the men feeling insulted because of the way maybe the wives speak to them, because along the line, if the man is not able to meet up in terms of the, the financial lifestyle of this
Obligation.
woman, it's going to affect them, because the woman will not understand that, for instance, if this woman lived in a house where there was a cook, she will not understand why her husband is telling her to go and cook in the kitchen. She says, "For heaven's sake, the cooks do that." And the man will say, "No, my mother used to pound yam for me, and my father." So these are serious issues that affect us. Very, very
Mm.
serious issues. And if parents feel that it does not matter, Those little things are the things that will make a marriage to break. So doing counseling is always important to let both parties know the consequences of getting married. They need to pay attention to their backgrounds to be able to
Okay.
say, oh, you either have to go and get further education. For instance, a man that is not educated married a PhD holder, for heaven's sake.
Stop
Even
shaking the
if
table. Stop shaking the table. It's not strong.
these are the realities, my sweetheart, because you'll be wondering why love that was so sweet before they said I do became so sour, became so
I can
toxic.
imagine.
So if we don't talk about it, we very soon our kids will come, be growing up, they want to get married, and we are always waiting for marry. You see that many mothers now, mother-in-laws, are delaying their sons from getting married because they have they have an image of the kind of girl their sons should marry. They don't really, most of them don't even consider the boy involved, their son's feelings. All they say is that, who is that girl? What background? Where is she coming from? It is very
Whose
important to
son?
pay
Whose
attention.
daughter?
Yes, yes, yes. And so they will now choose the child of their best friend, who at the end of everything, you are not going to live with them. The husband, the guy does not like this girl, and you will now see a lot of infidelity because the guy wants to go back to the girl that he truly loves. He will leave the one that they got for him. So the truth is that there are many traumatic experiences that children have. I have a list of them here. And the truth is, when I went through, I would like to read it to all of us. They are called ACEs. Psychologists have it that many of the experiences we had between 0 years to 18 years have affected the way we were formed even up to this day without us knowing. Do you know that because I now have information about how I grew up and how the things that happened to me, I'll be reading them shortly, the things that happened to me, how they have affected me. Sometimes I see myself repeating the things that I, without knowing, took from my mom. I see myself replicating it in my own marriage. And
It's a
I'm very
cycle.
careful to catch myself. Yeah. To catch myself so that my kids don't imbibe it subconsciously. Don't forget, the environment is speaking. Where our children are is always, they are learning from things we're not saying, how we relate to our spouse. If we show so much gratitude, love, they are observing all that. If we do not deliberately heal from our past wounds, we will see ourselves like spokes,
Yeah.
thorns, attacking ourselves. Maybe your husband will just, maybe somebody, let me give an example. The husband will just come and say, how are you today? Say, what is so good? Or say, good morning. For instance, the common one we see in home videos. Good morning. What is so good about the morning? What I asked you for yesterday, did you give it to me? And our kids are around. And the child, maybe a girl will say, oh, so is it that anytime a dad and a mom live together, I always see them quarreling. I always see them arguing. Subconsciously, the child will grow up. If that child has not been worked on, will grow up and start doing that to whoever they have in any relationship. So let me quickly read out these factors, right? It's
All
called
right,
the
please go ahead.
it's called the Advanced Childhood Experience, and it's a questionnaire, right? And there are
Okay.
10 questions, and I would love everyone to watch and listen to them. While you were growing up, during your first 18 years of life, number one, did a parent or other adult in the household often swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you? or act in a way that made you afraid that you might be physically hurt. This needs a yes or no response. Yes or no response. Number 2, did a parent or other adult in the household often push, grab, slap, or throw something at you, or ever hit you so hard that you had marks or were injured? Either yes or no. I hope you're following, ladies.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Number 3, did an adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touch or fondle you or have you touch their body in a sexual way or try to or actually have oral, anal, or vaginal sex with you? These are traumatic experiences that children go through even now. And because parents are not intentional to have that conversation with their children, it leads to traumatic experiences that affect the self-esteem of our children. Number 4, did you often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special? Or your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? It's either a yes or a no. There are 10 questions. I've just taken 4. If everyone listening to me is able to sincerely answer these questions, you will see that when they are from 3, from 4, and more, you have yes, that person needs healing, because there are some buried issues that need to be resolved. If not, it will transfer over to the children without you
Okay.
knowing. Then the next one, the 5th one, is this: did you often feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, and had no one to protect you? Sometimes some kids are left on the streets, maybe they are orphaned. So you can imagine the traumatic experiences they have. This can lower their self-esteem. Or your parents were too drunk or high or take care of you to take care of you to the okay. Your parents were too drunk or high to take care of you or take you to the doctor if you needed it. These are questions that need yes or no answers. Number 6, were your parents ever separated or divorced? During my own time, there were some issues in the family at that time. So when that boy spoke to me in my adulthood, I had to reflect what was happening to me, because I couldn't remember. Can you remember? Can you imagine not remembering what happened to you in your childhood days? That is traumatic. We're supposed to be keeping memories, but somewhere it's buried. Maybe it's something that happened my mind does not want to remember. It's buried there. Number 7, was your mother or stepmom, please hold on. Sorry.
Okay.
Number 7, was your mother or stepmother often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at her, or sometimes or often kicked, beaten, hit with a fist or hit with something hard, or ever repeatedly hit over at least a few minutes or threatened with gun or knife. I once had a neighbor whose husband threatened her with a gun in their house. So you can imagine if the children, there were kids in that house, and the kids have to start crying, "Daddy, please don't kill mommy. Daddy, please don't kill mommy."
Wow.
You can imagine the trauma those kids will have. And in various homes, we see abuse, abuse, abuse. These things can lower the children's self-esteem. Kids that would naturally flourish because nobody cares about them, they now become timid, withdrawn. Kids that were doing so well in school will now become withdrawn. They don't want to speak about anything anymore. It takes somebody who is conscious to pay attention and say, what is wrong with you? This is not how my child used to be. When my child was 5, my child used to be very expressive. What happened? I've seen many parents who have told me that before their kids went into boarding school, they used to be very expressive. Now in boarding school, they've stopped talking. What did they encounter that changed them? It's important for parents to seek help. Number 8, did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker or alcoholic or who used strict drugs? This has effects on children. Number 9, was a household member depressed or mentally ill, or did a household member attempt suicide? We need to find out. Number 10, the final one. Did a household member go to prison? Did anyone in our house actually go to prison? It's either a yes or no. So I would like everyone who has heard me to actually count how many why they had or no they had. It's very important. And if they have more than 3, they need to seek help. Because without knowing it, they have some things that are buried in them that need help urgently. When I did mine, yes, go ahead.
You were saying that if they have more than 3 yeses, they need help urgently. Now, if you
Yes.
permit me to say, for example, the first, second questions are quite typical in the African setting. It will not be a surprise if a whole lot of people answer yes to those questions.
Do you
You see,
know
so
that
does our
because
cult, okay?
they were abused, your head, what's wrong with you, Olodo, all those words, I'm saying because I heard it. I grew up in that environment, right? A child that speaks too fast, and you tell the child, why are you speaking as if you have hot yam in your mouth? From that day, I stopped speaking.
Oh,
Because in my mind, before I opened my mouth to express how I felt, I would think, you are always talking as if you have hot yam in your mouth. I don't know if you can experience, if I can show you how it sounds. When you put hot food, they can't hear you. So what would I advise parents to do when a child has a challenge? Mind your language. Empathize with the child. The child is not responsible for how he is. He was born like that. What parents should do is to get a therapist, a speech coach. I train kids like that speak fast. If I could tell you that I used to speak so fast and nobody used to hear me, and I'm sure everyone can hear every single word I am saying today, that should show anyone listening that there is hope for the living.
Mm, mm,
That it takes an intentional parent to say, okay, you struggle in this area. Okay, you are always coming second to the last in your class. Is it by rubbing it in or by finding out if that teacher knows how to communicate those lessons effectively, or if the child has some other things that are disturbing him internally? It's very important that parents should educate themselves to know that children need help and there's help out there. Kids that are not, that have various forms of learning defects. Some kids don't sit still in class. Can can the parents communicate that to the caregiver or the teacher and say, my child has an attention deficit. He does not sit in one place for too long. When you are teaching, he can just jump up and shout, hey, without people labeling that child and say, are you crazy? Why are you behaving like a mad person? So it comes with you finding out that these are medical disorders, and you can actually get a specialized teacher to teach children that have these forms of disabilities, right?
okay,
And
all
there's,
right.
yes, yeah.
Now, what's the line? How do you balance it between supporting your child's weaknesses and actually indulging in their excesses?
Oh, it comes with knowledge. At every level, at every stage of a child's life, before they get to their teenage years, our duties as parents, we are to show our children the path to go. We are to instruct, we are to tell, we are to teach. We are the examples that they know. So when we do not take out time to teach them, we should not expect anything else from than misbehavior. But when we have taught them, we still need to guide them, because as they are growing up, they want to explore. But it's our duty to know that at this stage, curiosity, there's a stage in a child's life when the child wants to explore, find out. Instead of the child looking for information outside, we need to tell the child the consequences of every action. And we must be consistent, and we must mean what we say. We shouldn't just say, give out empty threats. When we tell a child without smacking the child, you will not have dinner. My mom did it to me. Oh, I would like to share that. Every Sunday was times table day. My mom used to teach me like that. She was a teacher. If I didn't get my times table correctly, there was no lunch. She did it for my sister and I. She did it for my sister and I. And at that time, when my sister was able to finish hers, my own turn, I had to finish learning before I had lunch. So I knew she was serious. But what I see happen these days is that we are too scared. We feel that, oh, we suffered so much and we don't want our children to suffer the way we did. So we spoil the child. And when the child grows older, we can't correct the child because the child has become so aggressive, and because we never disciplined the child at a very young age. But we need to tell the child the consequence of doing something good and the benefits of doing something bad. And when the child actually does the right thing, we need to celebrate the child, give the child what we promised to give the child. It does not have to be money, it does not have to be food. It could be, wow, well done. Today you're going to do lesser chores than your brother. Things like that, so that it can motivate the other kids to start doing that.
Okay, you cited an example in school of a child, probably just jumping up during classes and screaming. Now,
Yes.
if we have a number of teachers and caregivers watching us right now, now let's talk about their role in boosting the self-esteem of children. Now, putting the academic setting in perspective, you agree with me that not most of our schools are Montessori, and most times our
Yes.
teachers are overburdened. So how then do they cope? How then are they able to manage each child's peculiarity and actually coach them the right way?
Okay, thanks for that question. The teachers and caregivers need knowledge. What is missing is the older way of teaching, whereby even that high-handedness of using cane to beat kids. Right now, even the parents will say, if you beat my child, I will sue the school. So how else
Mhm.
can we instill discipline in kids? Well, I would like to share that. I have been in a school whereby they don't hit kids, they send children to the naughty corner. And in that school, I saw my son was in that school, and I saw him being punished for not sitting still because the teacher did not understand my son's temperament. Neither did I understand his temperament then. I was wondering why he would not sit to learn. But what she did that I did not like was depriving him from participating in the learning process. According to her, she was punishing him or by depriving him from taking part in the class activity. I don't think that is right, because I feel that the child is there to learn. So if you don't allow the child to see or experience maybe the seed planting that is going on, that child is missing out of that learning moment. There are other ways to call the child and tell the child and ask the child why he's not calm. But the thing is that this child does not sit still. So what the child needed was some breaks, because this same child that she complained about went to another school where I removed him, and the child did very well in his first class in that school. First time he came first. I had to sit
Wow.
down to learn, and I asked the teacher. She was very elderly. She was a grandmom, right?
Mm.
She told
Okay.
me that there was nothing wrong with my own son. That this boy, she called my son, does not want to be kept in the class for too long. He just wants to come and do his exercises and run out and play. And she allowed him. How many teachers in this our
Mm,
school that puts everybody in one box, how many
mm.
teachers would allow their kids to run out and play when
When
others
is
are
no
in
break
class?
time?
When it's no break time. But there are some kids that little exercise or activity makes them to assimilate better. Joe.
Okay. So you've just emphasized on knowledge for the teachers and caregivers. I'd actually like to bring Janet on now. Janet
Yes.
Ajubiwe is the founder of Bezali Hands of Love Foundation. She's a rescue agent, like she likes to call herself, on a mission, on a global mission rather. And one of some of the people that she comes in contact with are sexually abused children.
Wow.
Sometimes these children are being molested even by family members, and these same family members want this matter kept under wraps. Some of them, it takes them a while to open up. What's the best way to help these children come back to life, find themselves again, and associate with society?
Wow.
Okay.
That is okay. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Wait.
The truth is that these children are suffering from a lot of trauma, and they actually need somebody to listen to them and help them heal from the wound that they have. If you don't intentionally take them through that path to to say that what has happened to them. In fact, I think the first kind of healing they need is when those abusers apologize to them. Even though they might not, many of them might be late, they can't even go there. But like somebody that has passed through maybe losing maybe virginity, for instance, a trusted person, they're usually the house help, an uncle, an aunt. You want that person to own up and say, I did wrong. That's the first thing. But if they don't get it, it's our duty as therapists to help those people see themselves in a positive light. Because right now, they will feel that there was something that they did that made those people to abuse them. So they will feel guilty. And they'll keep living like that, that, oh, I must have caused this man to have abused me like this. Or my uncle, what did I do? And maybe the society too always blames the victim that they actually, maybe they did not dress properly. Why did you go there and things like that? They need help. They need to have like a therapist occasionally come in to see them and talk to them so they can, there's a kind of healing that comes from you speaking out about your experience. It heals wounds. When you bottle this in, you do not allow, those kids don't allow maybe freshness to come in. They will not know why people want to love them, but they can't receive the love because they've not allowed the hurt to go out. So for them to move on, they need to actually get that thing out. From all these experiences, being abused, parents being separated and divorced, you can imagine in their mind, it should be as if they marry, they don't want to face another divorce. They don't want somebody to say that, oh, I'm not going to live with the person again. So they rather stay single. Without them knowing, people that will come to really love them genuinely, they will just do something that will scare them. So it's subconscious. They don't know why, but when they sit with a therapist, that person will help them to resolve the deep-seated hurts and get it out. They have to feel it and sort of pull it out and let go of the hurt so they can have their peace. It takes a process.
Okay, so therapy will help victims of sexual abuse to heal properly.
Yes, it
But
will.
then there's this other category of children with disability as well, which is no fault of theirs. Children who probably have physical disability, skin pigmentation, who just look different from their peers in class. What is the best way to help them, conform with their own environment and ensure that they are not left out?
Children with disabilities, I work with women with disabilities. Wow, it's a tough one, and it has to, we have to, we have to encourage caregivers to actually know how to train them. We see that most children with disabilities, either with, whether they are visually impaired, whether they are deaf, they can't hear, or one thing or the other, when they are taught, they now see themselves being equipped to be productive. I know of many people with disabilities, maybe polio, they don't have their legs, but their brain, they're graduates in law. So if their parents, first of all, see if the parents do not feed them with love, it starts primarily from the home. I've seen many societies in Nigeria where people that have issues, they say that maybe it's a spiritual attack. They even pursue the women out of the families. There's a woman I met, she had kids that had the color of eyes, their pupil was different.
Yeah.
And they now told the woman that she had some spiritual, she was an outcast. And there was nothing wrong with it. I'm sure if it was America, they would say, wow, can you come and do modeling for us? You see how our culture is affecting us here? So it is our lack of knowledge, actually. So those children with disabilities, their family members need to accept them first and pour love into them, shower them with so much love and affection that you are not disabled. You might have a form of weakness, maybe your hands, but do you know that people without legs are doing amazing things? We have so many people like that, and they
I
need
have
to
one
see
too. He's my brother.
your brother.
Yes.
Wow. I have many
Hey.
friends because I have been mentoring them. And these beautiful ladies that I've been mentoring, the ones that were assigned to me, they were going to school, they were in school, crossing the road, they had an accident. Even the
Oh.
society needs to empathize some more with them. Put ourselves in their shoes. These are people's children. I have seen a particular lady who she was about to get married and she had the accident. But her husband still married her. Sometimes the men will say, no, the family of the relation of the bride or the groom to be will say, are you going to marry a woman that has one leg? Not know you can inherit it. Ignorance. That was an accident. She was not born like that. Some were even born like that. For heaven's sake, we have members of this kind of people in the different families. But the family needs to take those children to seek education. Many times you see families hiding them in the house, not exposing them. They feel it's a stigma. It's something of shame. And the truth is that if the parents can seek enough help, they'll make those children achieve the greatness that they have inside of them. So those children exist, but as far as they are alive, there's so much they can achieve. And we have lots of examples around the world, even in Nigeria.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. Thank you. I would like to also talk to Janet now because I know that from her childhood experiences that she has shared with me, she was quite a sick child, and it was a concern to everybody around, even towards adulthood. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
So, did that in any way affect your interaction with other children or with the society, or did that affect your dreams in any way?
Oh. Well, thank you very much. I would say I'm just different. Among many people that were affected by the kind of sickness I was affected, oh, I am blessed to survive it and to survive whatever could be the consequences. While I was growing up, I had a very loving family. That's the first thing. My siblings accepted me. They accepted the condition. They supported me with everything. My mom, my dad, they were all there. So I was not able to see myself as a sick child. I just saw that I was being sick. You know, there's a difference between seeing yourself as the sick child, that stigma. It was once that I experienced it when one girl described me with the sickness that, do you know that Janet? I said, which Janet? That Janet now, you don't know the one that is always sick. And said it to my face. Apart from all those ones, in fact, I would say I hold my friends. If I mention their names, I hold them in a very huge thank you. It's
But do
one,
you know
those
that
scholars, they will
sometimes,
carry my bag to the school. I will come behind. I got many support. So it really didn't affect me like it's supposed to affect me. It's not as if I didn't suffer from it, but to be honest, it's not that bad.
Okay, that's fantastic. Some of the
Thank
ACE questions that IKALONE came up with, she actually was asking if that's number 6, were your parents ever separated or divorced, or number 7, having a mother or stepmom being hit. Now imagine your peculiar situation in a home that had that situation of separation or violence. Do you think the story will still be the same?
never. I was writing all these things down and I was thinking, is it not better to even call my mom and my dad to say a special thank you to them?
Yes.
I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
I'm not. It's like they were ready for the affliction that was going to happen to me.
Wow.
So they did it together. Any child who didn't have such opportunity would never have survived it. I'm telling you the truth.
Wow.
There are many times that,
Kudos to mom and dad.
Yes.
honestly, it's like they decided. It's not common, I won't lie to you. I've seen many children that just because they are sick, the father says this one is for the mother.
Yes. Yes.
Such a trauma will be an everlasting one.
Yes.
I won't lie to you. Because it's not easy to be sick, it's not easy to be in that condition. Now to
Yes.
talk of other weights coming up. Oh no. Sickness
All
is
right.
not good.
Ikalon,
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Praise
yes,
God. That's
we just
fantastic.
had that interesting story from Janet now. Kudos to her mom and dad.
Yes.
There's this study I came across. It was carried out in 2018, and it said that parenting in this contemporary time is far harder than it was in previous generations. Would you agree to that?
Definitely, my sweetheart. Definitely. Those days our mothers were seen to have to take up jobs that made them to always put their eyes on the children. So they will always go for jobs like teaching, have a shop, a kiosk beside the house, so that they'll prepare the food themselves and pack it up and tell the children go to school. They are there to welcome their children. Sometimes they go and pick their children. But because of the economic situation in the country, in fact, in the world, whereby the wife is now expected to support her husband to meet the needs of the family, the basic needs, feeding. The woman has left the comfort of her home environment, being a teacher, working close by, to seek jobs that have income, higher, income. So she's not able to play the role of a mother that we grew up with. And these children have to be cared for. So the woman is forced, even if she's pregnant, has a child, jobs, that want to employ her would not easily want to employ a woman who is pregnant. So sometimes you
Mhm.
see ladies concealing that they are married, concealing that they are pregnant. Sometimes they'll say, I will work. And because they are concealing that, immediately they give birth, they'll be calling their aged mothers from the village or getting a house help who they do not know the history of that person to come and cater for that baby because they need to go out. So the economic situation has made them to go out to support their husbands. And they come back late and they also need to be cared for. So they come back angry, sometimes frustrated. Maybe they had a very terrible day at work. So the bond where the child should tell you that, oh, auntie, let me not use Janet. I went to say Auntie Janet. Auntie, Auntie, whose name? Auntie Joy touched me like this. Are you not seeing the rate of abuse? Where are the parents? Where are the mothers? And that is what is causing all this, where our children now are traumatized. Some even by their fathers, by their biological fathers, for whatever crazy reason.
Now, you just talked about, you spoke as if, parenting is a one-way traffic. It takes two to tango here.
My
Yeah, most
sweet
times we
sister.
usually don't like to go there.
No, 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 no. How are our boys? How have the boys been raised? Do you know that some men, when their wives put to bed, they can't stand being in the theater room? They can't even carry their own babies because they are too small. That goes back to parenting. If those boys, when they were small, were trained to do what the girls, do you know a 5-year-old girl, or maybe say 5'8", can back a newborn baby in Africa if she's well taught. But a boy that is 15 cannot even carry a baby. He's just looking at But some mothers intentionally train their sons to stay with them in the kitchen and watch how they cook. I know of young boys who are chefs doing great things in Nigeria. It depends on the upbringing. Can we now as parents be intentional to see equity? Equity. That the boy, what the boy can do, the girl can do. The positions that we want our females to attain right now, can our boys and men also strive for that positions? Is it not possible that because the woman is now left to go out and contribute, can the man also assist in preparing dinner for his children?
Will the African society allow it?
Society? Who is society?
The African society.
I'm
Because
just saying
sometimes
I'm asking
when okay, go ahead.
Because the truth is that if it is okay for you to collect money from your wife or to ask for assistance from her to take up some major projects, why would it be okay for you to help her in the kitchen or with the children's homework? So that era whereby a guy will feel very happy to say, oh, baby, if the woman comes and says she's hungry and she says, oh, baby guy, is there dinner for us? It comes down to understanding. Do you know overseas, some men sit at home to take care of the babies because they know that their wives have better paying jobs? It's just this fallacy that, oh, I'm a man. When it comes to meeting the needs, can you do it alone? You need your wife as a support to support you. So why won't you help out?
I think, like you emphasized previously, it all boils down to knowledge. The knowledge that is available to the men around, it will actually help them to know if they would assist their wives or they would wear their ego like a cape.
Oh, I know. And it all also matters with the kind of friends they move around. Sometimes some guys can do it for their wives, but if they move with the kind of people that say, no, how dare you? If they have the low self-esteem or that kind of esteem that says, hey, but if they don't really care, they can tell their friends that, wow, this baby is my baby. My wife didn't just bring the baby from outside when she came to my house. So why won't I change his diaper? Why can't I make his meal? She goes to work, I go to work. So sometimes we need to teach these people that are trying to make them feel as if they're doing something, but we need to educate them because they're not educated. They don't know. So they can go back and start seeing the wife who is saying, help me, baby. Say, how can I help you? I can't enter the kitchen. I never saw my father doing it.
Mm.
So they
Well,
can learn from, yeah.
Ikalon, it's actually been an exciting time with you. It was just like a rollover from the time we had earlier in the day, and you keep
Yes,
going
yes,
on.
yes.
Some of the things that I've been able to pick from here is that negative words from parents actually affect the children negatively. Sometimes we talk
Yes.
about them like we're joking, comparison, like some of the things that you said affected you. And
Yes.
then this will be my last question before we wrap it up and you give us a takeaway from here. We were recently faced with a global lockdown,
Yes.
no thanks to COVID-19. Now, do you think that period allowed parents engage their children effectively? Was it for good?
Wow. That was one of the benefits of the lockdown, not of COVID. Many parents did not know their children. Hey, many spouses did not know their spouse.
No.
In fact, then they were locked in, they had to look into their spouse's eyes for the first time and ask themselves, what should we do with our children for the very first time? Because before that, the school was taking care of that, the caregivers were coming, everybody had to push away all the extra people around them, and they were stuck with their kids. I loved that bond, and it made parents to appreciate teachers. It made parents
Yeah.
to appreciate caregivers. Sincerely, many parents were losing it. And it wasn't easy for the children either. They did not understand why they could not go out. So they were locked in. I had lots of kids talking about, oh, we want this thing to go away, but thank God it has eased off right now. But I would love us to continue to spend more time with our spouses and our children, because we
Okay.
are the first role models of our children. In fact, recently it dawned on me that what I want my kids to have, or how I want them to be, I should be the living example of that. They are all of a boarding school right now, but I'm now conscious. The words I say, the things I do, how I do it, the kids are taking it in. So my conscious investment in being intentional in every area of their lives is how I pay attention to how I relate with my husband, how I relate with them. I don't want to see myself playing out what I suffered to my kids. I shared with you earlier that I saw myself repeating the things I did not like to my son. And I thank God for the little knowledge I had, where I caught myself and I had to calm down and I asked my son, please take a pen and paper and exhale. Write down how you are hurting inside. And the things my son revealed to me, I haven't recovered from that time. And I thank God I listened. So I would like to encourage every parent to take out time to speak to their children, stop everything and ask them, how are you feeling? How do you feel about the way I talk to you, the way I relate with you? Have a family meeting. Everyone, care, even the house helps. Ask them for feedback. You might think you love them, but the thing you are giving to them, they even hate it because they hate something else that you're not paying attention to. But where we can actually listen, but listen to understand, to change, not listen to say, okay, I've heard you. And you say, who are they to correct you? Because you are the alpha and omega of your house. The truth is that as fathers, even listening today, if you do not connect with your children today, when they are older, don't be surprised that when you call them, they refuse to return your call. They won't even pick. It starts from
Wow.
now. It
Yes.
starts from
It's
now.
starts from now. I believe everyone who's listening, who's watching in, would take that one. It starts from now. So if you've been wondering, have I been a good parent? Have I been a good mother or father? The time to evaluate yourself is actually now. You can actually stop what you're doing just for 2, 3 minutes and evaluate everything you're doing. And I believe we'll be better off. Okay, I actually made a promise on your behalf. When we started, I did tell them that they could put up their questions and that if they had challenges, that you could help them walk through. So if I don't know if you want to put up your social media handles for people who want to interact with you
Oh,
right after
definitely,
now.
definitely. Okay, well, they can send me a messenger. I don't know if I can share my telephone number because I have an official WhatsApp that they can reach me, or they can go to
Uh,
Facebook and send. They can
Facebook
reach
is
me on
fine.
Facebook. Okay, can I give my WhatsApp messenger?
Facebook is
Right? Okay,
See,
yes.
okay,
if
yeah.
you
This is
if
my.
you will not feel too disturbed,
Oh no, it's my official line. No, that.
good.
So they can send me a message through Messenger at Ikalo Udo. My name is up here. So from then I will assess them. Then we can now move over to WhatsApp. So they should reach out to me on Messenger. That's fine.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Ikalon, and congratulations. I heard that your children were in various radio stations today, making you proud. You know, the very proud code.
They were on BFM. They were on
Congratulations.
Hot FM in the morning. In fact, the station they're just there. I was super proud of them. Truly, Danica Council. That's
Wow.
my passion. Every child has a voice, but it's the responsibility of the parent to nurture the gifts that God has put in them.
Wow.
That is
Thank
the
you so
assignment.
much for answering that call.
Yes.
Someone who
Thank
also
you.
has a call is Janet at Jubiewe. In fact, her passion, sometimes I wonder how she sleeps. Big kudos to her husband, I must say, because at times she sent me a message one day at I think maybe 12:30 a.m. and she said she's planning. I said, no, I'm sleeping.
Wow.
she she's that passionate on about her rescue mission, global rescue mission, especially to sexually abused children. Thank you for your impact. And she recently just completed the P35 at 35. Yeah, it was her birthday.
Congratulations. And she was and she's born in May like me.
Oh,
Ah!
enough of the celebrations. Other months are here, please.
Oh, I'm
Ah!
sorry. We have
Thank
to
you so
consider
much. It
it.
has
Yes.
been, it has really been an impactful session. I don't know, Janet, you want to say, give us any parting shot?
Do I want you to go? That is what I forgot. That I'm not being emotional. Somebody sent me a message and asked me if this session is recorded, as in direct message, to know how touchy it is. Another person told me, he said, please, we need more publicity for this kind of webinars. I promised the person we will do. It's not as if I'm not doing, but it's not yet enough, I accept. But whatever I need to do, I'll do it from my hand. And please, I can't do it alone. You've listened to Ikalon. You've listened to everything she said. You might not have heard such things from my mouth because I don't know it all. By God's grace, we'll be bringing many people. We'll be doing a lot of webinars, a lot of things that are impactful. If you follow everything Ikalon has said, I'm telling you, that family robust that we say is a reality is on another realm. Ikalon, thank you so much. The heavens will reward you for what you have done. Thank you
Amen.
so much. You have done a very, very amazing thing today. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to your husband for releasing you to come and talk to
Yes,
us and
so
releasing you to fulfill destiny, because then we don't have a lot of secured men. We don't have a lot of them. So by God's grace, we'll bring more webinars, we'll bring a lot of people. Ikalon, thank you for coming. God bless you. I'm really grateful. Thank you. I love you. I love you. I
Thank you.
love
Thank
you.
you so much,
don't
Angel. God
start
bless
crying,
you.
no.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Ikalon, for coming on. I really appreciate this opportunity. And of course, thank you to my husband too. He's with the kids while I'm here speaking English.
No, no, I have to celebrate him. To eject somebody's wife and say, "Come and do moderating."
Oh,
You know.
um,
Thank you so much,
today has
Angel
really been
Wale
impactful.
Adeyemi. Thank you so much. You have been really supportive. In fact, the digging deep was really, really interesting. That's some things we'll talk about later. Later. Thank you so much.
Uh,
Thank you for
all
coming.
right.
Thank you. I
You're
celebrate
welcome.
your husband, Pastor Wale Adeyemi. Thank you so much. Even the children for cooperating. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow again, I will expect you, our moderator. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. I believe you have been blessed immensely. I'm telling you, this thing you got for free, you need to appreciate God for it. Ikalon is not someone you can just get anywhere. She is an icon, she's a figure in her field. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is here. I have a barrister that will be coming tomorrow. You know, you might be hearing about children rights, children rights, children have their rights, children rights have their rights. How do we balance discipline with children rights? Tope Oluwatoye is coming up tomorrow. Enough of harassment on all our children, and enough of harassment on the parents because of children rights. You know, we just need to balance things. Punishment, discipline, all those things, they have to be balanced, especially in this our jet age, that the children themselves know what to do, who to call. We need to learn, we need to come on board, we need to know what the rights of the children are, we need to know how to discipline them and create the balance. So tomorrow I will expect you again, the same time, 7 p.m. Nigeria, UK, and 6 p.m. if you are in Burkina Faso, if you are in Ghana. Let's meet tomorrow again. God bless you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I still remain your personal person, Janet Ajobiewe. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. And thank you for listening. I love you. Bye bye. Till tomorrow.